Hi again, and welcome back to Short and Sweet. Last week, we looked at part one of our two-part special on WeVideo, this fantastic video editing tool that's web-based, so works on pretty much any device, including Chromebooks, which is what makes it so brilliant, particularly during distance learning. This week, following on from the previous session, we're going to be looking at how you can use WeVideo to screen record. We're going to look at how you can use that to just record yourself on your webcam. Ben's going to take us through some aspects of adjusting and fine-tuning various different points, including text, images, and videos. And then we're going to look at the magic of Greenscreen before we finish off with maybe just a little bit of something special of a new release from WeVideo. So, with that being said, let's make a start. So here we are again, back in our WeVideo dashboard. And what we're going to focus on first of all is how we can use the video tool to record our screen. So in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is open up a new project. So I'm going to go to projects and I'm going to make this part of my demos. So I'm going to open up my demo folder. And in here, I'm just going to create a new video edit. And I'm not going to use one of the templates, although I could. I'm just going to go to a blank edit here, and I'm going to start while WeVideo prepares my tracks for me. So just like last week, here's my preview window. Here's my folders with my media. The stock media is available up here, and I've got video track 1 and 2 and the audio track. And what I'm going to do first of all is show you how I can record my screen using WeVideo. So what I'm going to do first is show you how we can use the record feature to record ourselves, just like I'm doing at the moment. So I'm going to come here to the record feature, and I have a choice of the webcam, screen, or both. And first of all, I just want to use the webcam. So I'm going to click Next here, and I get to choose my camera and my microphone source, and I'm going to click Start Recording. Now, when we're recording on the webcam, sometimes it's tempting to make the window disappear, but that can then make it difficult to find it again to stop the recording afterwards. So just bear that in mind when you're using the webcam. So we're going to start recording. It's going to count us in. I'm not going to worry about my cursor. Hi everyone. Welcome to this second edition of WeVideo in Short and Sweet. Last time round, we looked at how we can create our tracks and import our media. And this time round, we're going to look at how we can use things like Greenscreen to create real magic. And then I'm just going to stop that there. Now I can play that through again to make sure I'm happy with it. Hi everyone. I can record it again if I'm not happy with it, or I can click Save. And that's directly going to put that track into video 1 on my video. Now, if as I've done here, recorded with a green screen, what I would want to be able to do is to put something underneath that. So I can just move this up just by clicking on it and dragging it, because I want video 1 to be my background. Okay? And from there, I can choose a background. So I might go to a stock media, and I might choose something like a news studio, something like that, and see what we get. Lots of different options. These are videos. I just want an image for this one. So I'm just going to choose the images and see what comes up. Actually, there's nothing much there that I particularly like. So I might go back to the images and just loop it round. In which case, let's go with that red one. I'm going to drag that in there. You can see we can drag that out to make it a little bit longer. I can drag it out to the same length as my recording itself. Okay, so now what I've got is my recording straight in here, and I can play that. Hi everyone. Now, obviously we've got that first part there which we don't want, so I can choose to cut that out using the snipping tool that we looked at last time. You just delete those out of there. And that's snipped both of them at the same point. Now I can move both along and we can go again. Hi everyone, welcome to this second edition of WeVideo in short and sweet. Last time round. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there for a moment. We're going to come back to this for the green screen element later on. So I'm going to call this WeVideo 2 Demo 1. I'm just going to rename that and we're going to leave it alone for the moment. Okay, I'm not going to finish it because that would publish it. I'm just going to leave it and instead we're going to go into another project. So I'm going to go back to project now. So let's let me just double check. Yep, let's go back to project. We're still going to go in demos, but this time I'm going to use a different one. So I'm going to use a new video edit again. I'm going to go blank. And I'm going to choose the option of doing a voiceover. So for this, I'm going to create some stock media. I'm going to use some stock media, and I just want a busy street. Okay, you can see what we can come up with. It's just nothing particularly long. There we go. Jaipur in India for about 20 billboards there. Lots of different options. I'm just going to grab this one. Okay. And I'm going to put it into video track 1. I'm just going to extend it out a little bit. So it's 20 seconds long there. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to record just the audio. And I'm going to do that as if I was reporting on traffic in, where was this? Vietnam. There we go. So now I want to come to my media. There we go. And instead of recording, which would pick up the video as well, now I'm just going to choose narrate. And I want to be able to preview while I'm recording because that's going to enable me to watch the video as it's going along. And if the video's got its own audio, I can mute that out. Now in this case, I don't want to, but if it was, say, for example, a video that's already got speech on it, you might want to re-record that audio just to make it a little bit more polished, or maybe even to change the language. Okay, so I'm going to preview it while I'm recording, and I just click here on the red microphone symbol. So here we go. Wow, traffic and motorbikes in Vietnam are a massive problem. And as you can see, they're absolutely everywhere. It's crazy. And that might be all I want to record. Okay, so I've got that now. I can listen to it back if I want to, or I can just click the tick to agree it. And it records it to the server, which remember is all online. And what we will notice is it's added a voiceover track. So we've got an audio track, but this has automatically added a voiceover track. Now, if we don't want the audio, we could delete that really easily if we want and just have the two voiceovers together. And then we might want to move where we've got that voiceover. So now we've got the option to play that. Wow, traffic and motorbikes in Vietnam are a massive problem. And as you can see, they're absolutely everywhere. It's crazy. Okay, so now you've got the option to do a voiceover. And you could even do that in a different language if you wanted to. So if I wanted to do a similar thing, I could, for example, completely delete that, start back at the beginning, click narrate again, still choose to preview. Not going to worry about muting the audio because there wasn't a lot in there. Click here. Aquí estoy en un calle muy ocupado con muchísimo tráfico. Es una locura, ¿no? And then we've got the option to use that as an audio recording over the top. So potentially dubbing over a film we've already got. So we can choose where we want it and play. Aquí estoy en un calle muy ocupado con muchísimo tráfico. Es una locura, ¿no? So we get the idea. So now we've got the option to not just do a voiceover, but also to dub over in another language. Absolutely superb. The final thing we're going to look at is how we can then use the WeVideo record feature as a screen recorder. So I'm going to just shorten down this clip here. And then I might want to create a screen record of something else. So here I'm going to go to screen record. I'm now going to choose screen and webcam. And next, again, I get to choose my camera. And I'm just going to start recording. And I choose the screen I want to record on, or the application window, or the Chrome tab. It's going to count us in. And we are now sharing our screen with our students. So we can show them, for example, that if they were to type into a Google search, Vietnam traffic problems, they'd see lots and lots of different results here. But if they wanted to use an image, for example, for a presentation, we could demonstrate to them how they can use the tools to get an appropriately sized image that has, for example, oops, there we go. Is labelled for reuse, so there's no issue with rights and things like that. And we could even narrow it down to something that's been in the last year, so that it's not too much of a legacy. Because obviously with things like environmental issues, they can be long-standing images, and we want to make sure we're reporting correctly if they're doing something like a news item. So we know that this has come from the last year, it's labelled for us to reuse, and it's large, and we're absolutely fine with that. And we can even choose what type we want. So we can show students exactly how to narrow down their searches to get to a picture that they want to use. And that's how we can use WeVideo to screen share. So we get this option, and you'll notice here, and this is why I wanted to record both, it records the webcam and the screen as separate tracks. So I'm now going to hand over to Ben, who is freshly minted as a Google certified trainer. Congratulations, Ben, very well deserved. Quite possibly the youngest trainer ever. So over to Ben to take you through the next phase. Ben.
Thanks, Darren, for sharing those tips and tricks on how to do the screen and webcam recording on WeVideo. So I'm going to be going through today how to adjust the positioning of clips and images in WeVideo. Also looking at the volume and opacity levels too, and how to add a voiceover to your video as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So adjusting position of clips. Now this is going to be really important if you want to add logos to your videos, or you want to add text titles to them, and you want to position them a bit better on your screen rather than the preset that WeVideo puts in for you. Now there's different ways we can do that, and we're going to explore those in just a second. But this is particularly great if you want to do collages on the screen of multiple images or multiple videos at the same time. So let's look at the first way. Now I could double click on this image here, and it would give me these options. Now I have options to rotate images, flip images, fit them to scale or to the screen, and I'll have this scale option here. So I've got the scale. I can zoom out, which makes the image smaller, or zoom in to make the image bigger. So at the moment it's set at 1, but I'd like to move out a little bit. So I'm going to move out to about here, I think. Now, if I'm going to make a collage, I'd like 4 images on the screen. Now it might be really hard to find the exact size of your image or how to make your image that exact size. But WeVideo is a great tool. It's got the show grid option at the top here. If I click show grid, you'll see a grid appear that splits it into 4 automatically, which is great. And you've also got the option to snap those snap the images to the size as well. So I can move it up in size ever so slightly, and I can move it around. So I'm going to move it so it sits in that square there. I'm just going to move. Oh, I'd like to make this image a bit bigger here actually. So let's move it across and make that a bit bigger. There we go. So I can now see with the blue lines there, it's sitting just on the outline. So I can now put 4 photos in exactly that size, and it will show on the video as 4 clips that you can see. So once I finish, I'll just turn that grid off, and I know that's exactly 1/4 of my screen. Now, as soon as you're finished, you can click Save Changes. But maybe you'd like to move your clip around somewhere else. Maybe you'd like it in the middle. That's fine. You can just move it to the middle just like this. So you can still drag it around even after you've moved it into position. Whenever you're happy, click Save Changes, and you'll now see from the preview window that my clip now only appears in this bottom left-hand corner, whereas the next clip will show in the whole screen. So you can see just how I've done that really easily. Okay, now maybe I'd like to put another clip in the corner there as well. So let's find another stock media. We've got the zoo here. Let's use the zoo actually. That's oh no, now we've moved to the canyon. Not sure what happened there, but we'll work with it. So I'm going to add this layer to video layer 2. Okay, now at the moment they're going to overlap. It's just going to show this one image until I adjust the scale. So I'm going to double click again. I'm going to zoom out, and you'll see the other image start to appear. Now I'm going to make sure I turn on my show grid again to make sure I get it the right size. Don't want to overlap it at all. So let's make that size there. And this one does need to come down a little bit. So I'll go in and adjust that in just a moment. But let's save changes there. So once I've dragged this back to the beginning, you'll now see I have two images playing at the same time. Now it is slightly overlapped, just due to the first image being slightly bigger. But you can see the concept of what I mean there. So that's a just-in position of a particular image, as it were. Now what about adding a logo? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this and put my scale back to 1, so it's full screen. I'm going to drag that back to there. Perfect. Okay, and save changes. Now, I've already preloaded my logo in for short and sweet. So I'm going to go to my short and sweet logo, and I'm going to go to here. I'm just going to drag that in over the top. Now, at the moment, again, the same thing will happen. It will only show the logo, it won't show the background behind. So what I'm going to do, double click on there again, bring the scale down to the size I want it, and drag it around on the screen where I want. So I'm going to have it in the bottom left-hand corner here. I like it there. I'm going to click Save Changes. Now you'll see in the video, my logo now appears just here in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, I'd like it to fade in. So last week we went through transitions, which is a great way to do that. But we can also do it manually using the opacity features. So there's two ways we can get to that. So you've got the option of either clicking this line up here with the 2 dots that says Open Opacity Options. And this will only load the opacity settings for this one clip. Or I can go to the layer or the track here, so video 2. Click on the 3 dots and click Show Levels. And you'll see this green bar appears at the top. Now this is my opacity level for video clips. Audio is a different color, it will show as blue, which we'll go through shortly. But green is for all video or images. So let's look at how to adjust this now. So I could manually do it like this. I could click on and drag my opacity down or up, and it shows me the percentages I'll do that as well. But I don't want it to start at nothing and go to full at the end of that clip. I'd like it to sort of go from nothing up to full and then come back down over here. So we are gonna bring that down, and anywhere on this green line we can click again. Just click with a left click on the mouse and another dot will appear. So you'll see that's now a new pivot point. So I can now move that up or down or across if I want to. So there's a pivot point on there. So I can set it however I want. So I'm going to have it to set like this so I can fade in and out. Now I may not get this exactly right. This may not be exact timing. So let's see. That fades in really quick there. And it fades out slightly slower there. So there's a way around that as well. So I'm just going to drag these back up to the top for now. And if I'm done with these pivot points, I can double click again just to get rid of them, really simply. All right. But what I could do instead is I'll click this opacity options here and I'll get the option for fade. So I can click fade and it presets to 1 second either side. So we can see how that looks as well here. Now we also have the option to adjust the timings on that. It doesn't have to be 1 second. It could be 0.5 seconds and the bar will adjust every time I type this in. Or I could put it as 2 seconds. Oh, that's 0.2. There you go. So 2 seconds in, 1 second out. It can be however you want it to be. So it's whatever suits you best. So lots of different options you can do that. And that's for all video clips in all layers. Now, we're going to look at how to do it for a audio track. Now, audio, it may not sound very clear to you at the moment because obviously I'm doing a screen record. But we're just going to look at the premise of how to do it rather than how it sounds. So bear with me. So I'm going to go to my audio tab. I'm going to find a piece of music I like. So I'm just going to use this Summer EDM Megamix and drag it into my audio layer here. Now you can see straight away I have my blue bar now up here, which is the opacity or of sound volume of this particular track. So opacity in terms of volume is loudness. Okay, you obviously can't see the soundtrack when it's playing. You can only hear how loud or quiet it is. So opacity in terms of sound is how loud or quiet the piece of music is. So again, same thing. I could click on here, create a new pivot point, and I can drag down either side. There isn't the option to fade in and out on audio tracks, unfortunately, so we will have to do this one manually, but I'm sure that's not going to be too much of a problem. So I'm just going to cut the track at the end of my video here, which is very random, I know, but we're going to go with it. So I'm going to cut it there, and then I'm going to just fade it out at the end here as well. So by clicking on there and bringing down the opacity at the end, so you'll see how that fades in and out. So I've got it currently set to 0 up to 100. So we'll just see how that sounds. So you can see that fades in from being very quiet, having no sound, gradually up to 100%. So that's a real neat way of adjusting the volume. Now, what about if you're going to add a voiceover to your clip? You like to add something on top and like to have your music lower down when you're talking. I hear you all asking that question, so I'm going to answer it now before I hear any more people screaming at me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record a voiceover now. So I can't play the video at the same time, but I'm just going to record a video that's going to go over the top of this clip. Just saying, look at these beautiful views, you know, lots of forest either side of this lake and the beautiful blue sea, something along those lines. So I'm just going to record that and then show you how to insert it. So I'm going to go to my media, make sure I'm in the right folder. So I'm going to go into short and sweet here, and I'm going to click narrate. So narrate, and I'm going to click this red record button to start my recording. Hello and welcome to Short and Sweet's video this week. So as you can see from this landscape, there's two different forestation areas, either side of a beautiful blue river with some sand either side as well. I wish I was there right now. So once I'm done, click the stop and click on the blue tick that turns green. Click on that and that will load into my folder just here. So once it's saved to the server, it will appear in this folder here. Give it a second. It might also, oh no, there you go, sorry, it appears straight in VoiceOver 1. So you can see at the moment it is a bit long, so I'm gonna crop this out, or alternatively I could just adjust the opacity rather than cropping it. So I think I will, on this instance, crop it. I'm just gonna go over here to when I start talking, cut there, cut at the end, get rid of those bits, drag it to its inline. I don't need all of it. I'm just going to match it up so it's exactly the same length as this. Okay, so you'll hear now when I play this, when I'm talking, the music is still really loud. Hello and welcome to Short and Sweet video this week. So I'd like to adjust the volume on my audio, my song, so it doesn't cut over the top of my voiceover. So I'm going to click back on my audio track and again add a pivot point to this by clicking anywhere on the blue line. So I'm going to click here. I need to click 2 dots on here though, rather than just the one. Now it's really important because if you just have one, I'll show you what happens. It will bring the whole track down there. And what we don't want to do is exactly that. We want to, let's put this back up to 100. We'd like to have a pivot point. So when it gets to this point, it then comes down just like this. And we're going to do the same over here. We want a pivot point there, another one that comes down. So we create this sort of this arced shape here. So I'm going to adjust the volume to have it at maybe at 8%. We'll go with 8 to see if that works. And we'll fade it out gradually. Okay, and we'll see how that sounds now. Let's get rid of that pivot point there. Hello and welcome to Short and Sweet's video this week. So you can see there, you can adjust the volume of the song in particular to make your voiceover stand out. And that's what I really want to get across. You can adjust the opacity for not only videos, not only images, but songs and voiceover or MP3, you know, sound clips as well to suit your video. Lots of playing about you can do, lots of different options, and I hope you find that useful. So back to you, Darren, to look through green screen and drawings.
Thanks for that. That's great. Thanks, Ben. So as I mentioned earlier, we're now going to look at the magic of green screen and some of the things that we can do to have some real fun with WeVideo. So I'm going to take us back, first of all, to our project that we started earlier and that demo lesson where I recorded myself right at the very beginning, the one that we called WeVideo Demo 1. So I'm just going to open that up. And as we can see, we had in here the TV studio, and then we've got laid over the top of it the video of myself talking. But the problem we've got is when we play it, hi everyone, this section of me, this track, is over the top of this one, and we can't see underneath it. So what we do to create the green screen effect is to double click on that track, and just along the top here, like Ben's already had a look at with us, we've got the option here for color keying. And all I've got to do is pick up the picker and choose a block color. And in this case, I'm going to choose the green, and you can see it's immediately cropped it out. If I wanted to, I could also make myself a little bit smaller in the window there, so it just fits in a little bit better. And I'm just going to click Save Changes. Okay, so what that's now done is it's taken out the green. We've got the TV studio underneath, and now we've got me in the studio. Welcome to this second edition of WeVideo in short and sweet. Last time. Okay, so it really is as simple as that. And it doesn't have to be green. Any background behind you can be used. Blue is another great color, but it needs to be one block color. Okay. Now, the good thing about WeVideo is that it does have its own native content as well. So if I come, I'm actually just going to delete these out of here. If we come up to the stock media and we just type in green screen, what we'll find is lots of resources from the stock media library that's already got things in there. So we've got people, we've got TV screens, we've got billboards, there's that blue we were talking about, we've got hand gestures, breaking news, and all sorts of other options, cinema screens, which is quite a nice one. So I'm going to bring that in. And whenever we're using green screen stuff, we make sure that we don't put it on video 1. Because video 1 is what we want to see through the green screen. And this is essentially like an overlay. What we're going to do is get WeVideo to ignore the green section and make that like a transparent window. So we then put something else underneath. So if we wanted to pretend we're in the cinema and we're looking at a film about, say, for example, a car chase, a bit of that, might see what we can find. So we've got various different bits, car on a fast ride here, Mustang driving and all these kind of things, outdoor car chase scene. Let's drag that in, okay? So at the moment, we've got a car chase scene and we've got a cinema. Again, all we do is double click down here, come to our green screen, choose our picker, take the color out, and then we're absolutely fine with that. Then what we might want to do is to just resize using the tools up here, our actual window, so that we get more of the film on the screen, okay? And just move it up so it's in an appropriate position. We can probably afford to go a little bit smaller. There we go. So now we know that our car chase is going to show on the screen. And all we need to do now is take it back and play it. And there we are. We're in the cinema watching this car chase taking place. Okay? Really, really simple. Just using the stock media that's available. If, like me though, you're fortunate to have a green screen, mine is just a bright green tablecloth that I got from Amazon, and it cost me, I think, about £4, and it's just stuck up with blue tack. I can take it down whenever I want. It's absolutely brilliant because it gives you so many different options. So you can cut yourself out. You can also blank yourself out as well. So you could make yourself hide within a video. And the way we might do that is to just make sure that the screen is in front of us and then remove it. All right. So that's how we can use those green screen effects. And we can layer any number of things on there. So we might choose to make our own folders, like I've done. I've got a green screen folder, and in here I've got various things that I've put together. So I've got a jail cell, for example, so I can film myself in jail. I've got here, as we can see, on the preview, there's a lorry and there's a windscreen. So, for example, I can drag this in, and I will put it in video 2. And then I might want to say that I'm having a disco in my lorry. So I go to stock media, and I might find disco lights, for example. Choose one that I like. That one's quite cool, actually, so let's drag that in there. I can snip that off if I want to, if I don't want the rest of it in there. There we go. Just snip. There we go. Get rid of that. We'll get rid of that little tiny bit there. Now, my disco lights are going to show through the windscreen, but at the moment it's blacked out. It's not transparent. So again, double click. I'm up to my green screen. Get my picker. Choose my green. Place it, and then just check what I want to do with my actual footage. I might want to size it down a little bit so that I get more detail in the image, more fits in, maybe a little bit more. There we go. And now we'll be able to see when we play the video, in this case, the cab driver has got these disco lights scrolling through his windscreen. So we can have any manner of special effect. And you can create your own really, really easily. So as you can see here, and this is the final thing I want us to look at on green screening, I've got some examples here of a Jamboard that I've turned into a green screen. I've got a MacBook that I've turned into a green screen. And I've even taken the Good Morning Britain studio and turned that into a green screen. And the way I've done that is to use Google Drawings. So let's have a look at how we do that. I'm just going to go to my drive, and I'm going to go to New, and to Google Drawings. And then I'm going to find something that I want to make into a green screen effect. So in this case, I'm looking for an outdoor cinema. Okay. I want an image, and I want to make sure, using our tools, that it's okay to be reused. So I want a nice big picture of an outdoor cinema. Ah, perfect. Something like this. Absolutely superb. So I'm just going to take this into Google Drawings and drop it in there. There we go. I'm just going to size it up to make it a lot bigger. There we go. And now what I need to do is to make this a green screen. So I'm going to use my select line, and I'm going to use the Polyline tool to draw around the big screen itself. And the good thing about the Polyline tool is at the point it starts to meet again, it makes it a solid shape, and then we can recolor that shape. So we go to Custom, and I've got this extension called Eyedropper. There are lots of others out there, but I know I've got saved in here various different things, different greens and things like that, but I definitely want the chroma key, okay? So to be able to do that, if you already know the color, that's fantastic, but if you don't, you can just do a search for it. So we can come here and say chroma key code. Okay, and we'll go to all, and we can see there's our hex code, B140. So we're going to copy that, come in here, and paste that in. There we go. That's our chroma key. Now we've got an outdoor cinema. Let's take that off. So we're going to call this outdoor cinema. Oops. And I'm going to download it as a PNG. And I'm going to import it into WeVideo media. So I'm going to put it into my green screen folder. I come to media. I go to green screens. And I'm just going to import it. Leave it to upload in the background. And very, very shortly, we should be able to see, if I went into one of our projects again, back into our demo, we've got the position here where by the time this is opened up, in this green screen, instead of the lorry there, I could choose my outdoor cinema. And again, just double click, come in, pick up that, drop the green screen, and just adjust the settings slightly so that it's more on screen for us. And now I've got these video lights on screen. If I didn't want that and I wanted to swap it for any other footage, I could do. So if I wanted myself on screen, I can easily do that as well. So I can add myself in here on the big screen, and I can key myself out. So I could layer this a third time. I'll take the green out. Again, I'm going to just resize myself slightly to fit on screen a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to be massively overlooking all of these people in the park. And now I just want another track underneath. So one of the good things about this, so I press Control, I can highlight both of these at the same time. What I'm going to do is add a track, drag them up, and that leaves me one underneath to put it in. And I'm going to have my background there from Stock Media as being a TV studio. I'm going to use this one here, and I'll just drag it in. Now, what we'll see when we play, we've got to make sure that we've got our sizings absolutely right. It's just a little bit small, that one, so I'm just going to make it stretch, come down slightly. There we go. And on the other one, just take myself up slightly. There we are. Now when we play it, we'll see. Bonjour tout le monde. We've got the three layers all working together. So really, really superb. Okay. And finally, we're going to have a look at a great new tool, which is all part of WeVideo, which is the GIF Maker. So here we are again in our dashboard, and you can see we've now got this third option of a GIF. So we're going to click here, and we're going to save this in a GIF folder that I've got ready to go. We're going to start editing. So GIFs, remember, are very short animated clips that have a maximum of 45 seconds. Okay, so all we're going to do is create a very, very simple GIF. We can use stock media, we can use our own, we can have as much fun as we like. But for example, if we wanted to make a point that's really, really simple, just to embed in a PowerPoint or something like that, we could choose to record our webcam. And we can just do something like this. And stop it there. So really, really basic. But we can just save it in. It's really short. We can move it up because it's green screened. We can still do what we've done before and quickly change it. Take out the background there. We could add in another stock media background if we wanted into track one. But I'm going to find an office this time. And it might be, where are we? These are quite busy offices. Have we got like a link? There we go. Perfect. So there we go. We're going to drop that in there. Stretch it along. So this might be the kind of GIF that we might want to include for people who are new to video conferencing. And if we play this, this might be the kind of GIF you'd use to make it clear to people that they need to check their webcams are working before they jump on a video call. And all we've got to do is click Finish. Let's call that Webcam GIF. Choose to set. We have a choice of sizes, and if we want to use this on social media things, the smaller versions are better. So I'm going to click to download it to small. I can save it to my drive or to WeVideo, wherever I want. We're going to choose both. And I'm just going to export that now. Doesn't take very long to do at all. As with all things with WeVideo, we can then close these down as well if we want to, and just wait for the email or the alert to pop up. And there we go. Now we can see it's ready. We can play it. So this is what our GIF is going to look like. And we can download it and we can post that on social media. We can embed it into a Google slide. So all we need to do is just open up a new slide. Now we've got that GIF, we might, for example, have a heading here, which is like top tips for online video calls. And this one might be, check your webcam is working. And you might want to just, it might be all you want on there, and obviously you make your slide look an awful lot better and tidier than mine does at the moment. But then we can just insert image from computer, bring in our GIF, and have it sitting there, and that will play as we present the slide. There we go. A really great way of illustrating our point, and super easy to do. So that's how we can use WeVideo's new GIF creator to have a whole lot of fun and to demonstrate a point. I hope you have as much fun with it as Ben and I are. Take care. We'll see you next time.